Kang the Conqueror has been at the forefront of many emerging MCU theories regarding the Loki series on Disney Plus in recent weeks, and has been confirmed to be appearing in the third Ant-Man film, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But has this mysterious Time Lord actually already appeared in the MCU? Greetings, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse. Today, we will be discussing the theory that the seeds for Kang the Conqueror have already been planted in the MCU, and how Kang might have already been hinted at. In the 5th episode of Loki, we are introduced to the Void, which is a region at the end of time that acts as a sort of dumping ground for the discarded remnants of deviant timelines. In this void, we are treated to an array of fun Easter eggs, including the Thanos copper, a shield helicarrier, the Yellow Jacket's helmet, among other fun trinkets and treasures. But back in the cityscape of the void, we see a very familiar, dilapidated building, the Avengers Tower. While fans have been speculating how Avengers Tower got to the void, a number of compelling theories have emerged. But upon examining the tower more closely, we are able to see the insignia of a company called Kang on the side, in the place where the Stark Industries or Avengers Tower logo should be. Kang Enterprises in the comics was an industrial company controlled by none other than Nathaniel Richards, aka Kang the Conqueror. Seeing as Kang has a particular affinity for entering different time periods, posing as businessmen, and creating powerful companies such as the one we see here. In 1901, for example, he posed as a businessman named Victor Timely, who opened a robotics company in a relatively unassuming town for a time before appointing an animatronic double to take over in his absence. For more on this story, check out our video on how Kang is behind the TVA. But for now, the most important thing to note is that Kang Enterprises is yet another one of these business ventures. So how did Kang get control of Avengers Tower? Well, in Spider-Man Homecoming, we find out that Tony Stark sold the tower in order to move the Avengers compound to a complex upstate. This subplot plays directly into the third act of Homecoming when Adrian Toomes, Vulture, attempts to hijack a plane full of Avengers gear and equipment, leading to a climactic showdown between Spider-Man and the Vulture. But the elusive buyer of Avengers Tower is never revealed or named. Many have speculated as to who the mysterious buyer of Avengers Tower might be, theorizing that the tower may become the Baxter Building, home of the Fantastic Four, or a new center for Oscorp. But it is possible that the Avengers Tower was actually bought by an alias of Kang the Conqueror in order to build an outpost in the early 21st century. If Kang bought the Avengers Tower and created a company in the early 21st century, it would give him a prime location to watch over the Avengers, to study them, and have a sort of base of operations in the 21st century. Though this might not have been the plan all along, this does open the possibility for Marvel to retroactively change this event and give Kang a deeper history in the Marvel universe, seeing as the identity of the buyer has never been canonically confirmed. After all, they retconned the child that Tony Stark saves in Iron Man 2 into being Peter Parker, and gave Carol Danvers the call sign Avenger in 2019, becoming the prompt for the Avenger Initiative, so revealing that Kang the Conqueror bought the Avengers Tower would not be as much of a stretch to believe at all. We know that Kang will be making his MCU debut in Ant-Man 3 if he does not appear in the final episode of Loki, and Kevin Feige has confirmed that the final film of Phase 4 will be the MCU's rebooted iteration of the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four and Kang the Conqueror have an extensive history as rivals in the comics, meaning it is likely that Kang the Conqueror may stick around for some time after Ant-Man 3. An antagonist of his stature and reputation is not likely to simply be used as a one-off villain and then discarded. Many, though not all of Marvel's more popular villains have been used for multiple projects after all. Marvel admittedly does have a record of sidelining fan-favorite villains from the comics after one outing. The likes of Ultron and Hela particularly come to mind. But they also have a record for bringing back fan favorites and using some of the best villains for multiple projects, especially in the modern era of the MCU. The Red Skull returned in Infinity War and Endgame. Loki has been a staple of the MCU since 2011. Baron Zemo was brought back for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Ghost and the Vulture are alive and well, the former of which has been widely rumored to join the Thunderbolts alongside US Agent, who already served as an antagonist to Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and more recently the Abomination, who is being brought back for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So maybe it's fair to say that Marvel is learning from their missteps in their villain writing and is seeking to improve upon this. It seems that Marvel is evolving from the days with the likes of Malekith and Whiplash were the norm. Bland, one-dimensional villains used for one outing and then tossed aside, and are instead investing in creating long-term villains who can plague our heroes for years to come. Not great for the heroes involved in the universe, but great for us. If this is in fact the case, then Kang would be a perfect candidate to join the list of long-lasting MCU villains who can cross between projects and rival multiple different heroes if needed. And in order to do so, he'll need a base of operations. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of this theory? Do you think Kang bought Avengers Tower, and if so, do you believe he'll stick around after Ant-Man 3? And what do you think of this massive Easter egg pointing to Kang the Conqueror in episode 5 of Loki? And the fact that basically in the MCU now, in some timeline, it is confirmed that Kang did in fact purchase Avengers Tower. And do you think that this is simply a small Easter egg, or will it go on to be a major plot point in more MCU projects? I truly hope with all my heart that Kang is the next big bad of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and does have his fingerprints all over the Loki series. I truly hope that Ant-Man and the Wasp is not his first and his last outing as the character. Anyway guys, what are your thoughts on this? I would love to hear what you think in the comments down below. And is this a small Kang Easter egg, or does it mean something far more important? As always, my friends, hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.